of asking him flat out, basically, is Trump just manipulating markets and trying to insider trade here? Let's take a listen to how that went down.
He also seems to be a great stock pundit, Mr. Secretary. Earlier this morning, before the pause, he put out a message saying it's a great time to buy, and here we are. Here we are,
well,
much higher.
Cool. I'd always bet on Donald Trump. Every time I'd always bet on
He
Donald
also
Trump.
wrote DJT, which is a ticker for his media company.
No. Every text
that was just
he
his.
does.
That was just
every
his, okay.
text he sends to me. That's his name.
But that
That's
was a
how he
great time
says
to buy the market, right? I mean, uncanny.
Well, Donald Trump understands that America is the greatest country. All right, we are the greatest country, and we have the capacity for incredible greatness. But someone needs to take the shackles off. Someone needs to let our farmers sell corn to India.
Okay, so she tiptoes right up to it, but doesn't quite come out and say it. She really should have, though, actually. Go ahead and put C5 up on the screen. This is from our friend Unusual Whales, who pointed out, okay, interesting. Before Trump posted that now would be a great time to buy on Truth Social, you had traders opening up these certain type of calls. These are exchange-traded funds that track either the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. So just to put this in layman's terms, this means you see the spike, you had a huge jump in somebody who was betting that these markets were going to go up significantly. And on one of these in particular, they were betting it was like a day, just a day was the time frame. So they're basically saying, like, I think this market is going to jump up like crazy today. And these are highly leveraged. So this is a very, very risky bet, especially to make in the midst of a massive market meltdown.
It can go to actual zero. It's not like buying the S&P 500.
Exactly. So right before the news, he says someone opened up 509 of these calls expiring today, and those calls are up 2,100% in a single hour. So if you happened to be in on what was going to unfold during the day, this would be exactly the type of market move that you would make.
Yes, and for example, billionaire Charles Schwab was literally in the Oval Office around the time that this announcement was made. Here's Trump actually bragging about it on camera while he's in the Oval Office, pointing to Charles Schwab and saying, this guy made $2.5 billion today. Take a listen.
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. That's not bad. He's in financials.
Wow.
I'm just saying, look, I mean, as Joe said, was there really a concerted effort? I don't know. But listen, if you're Charles, you hear this going on, and you don't get on the phone, and you'll call your broker, you're an idiot, right? It's one of those, like, why wouldn't you do it? Or elected officials. Let's say Trump read in John Thune, or any of these other folks. We don't know if any of that is true, or Speaker Mike Johnson. We know from Unusual Whales and others, these people are trading all the time. And if any of this sounds ridiculous, I mean, let's not point to the fact that during the market crash, remember Senator Richard Burr was under federal investigation. They seized his cell phone for insider trading allegations and even the appearance of corruption. Don't forget also, we will not even get the disclosures from members of Congress for months now before we even know if they were able to trade on this information, let alone White House officials, the way that their reporting all works. It's going to take forever for this to be able to come out. So there is zero transparency
if they even bother to comply.
Yeah, right. Even if they do. I mean, actually, a lot don't. There's a lot of these, just, exclusions and things that you can get. Even the form is ridiculous. It's like, I'm worth between 12 and 50 million. You're like, okay, great. Thank you for the disclosure there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this. But my point, just broadly, is that if you look at the data, it is obvious something happened. Here we have, for example, C7, please. You can see exactly similar spike in the graph that Unusual Whales found. This is increase of over 10% on calls to options 10 minutes before the announcement. Somebody was making a huge bet right before that this all happened.
This was 10 minutes before Trump says, guess what, guys, we're switching it up, 10% tariffs, 90-day pause, 10 minutes before. That person, they just must be a market genius, Sagar.
maybe, yeah.
Market
Look, it's
genius.
theoretically possible. Like, they were like, oh, I really think Trump is going to make a big move today. It's a middle of the day, right around. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. No, nobody's got really that. I mean, remember that whole October 7th insight that we had?
Oh, yeah.
And we covered here on the show. To this day, nobody really knows who shorted the market there immediately before. What was he, like, shorted on October 6th and got miraculously lucky? There are all these apocryphal tales about 9/11 as well. And look, we can just simply add this one to the list. The data is clear. Somebody did make it. So SEC and IRS will know exactly who this person is. Would be nice. You know?
Yeah.
At the very least, just do an investigation.
I'm sure Trump's SEC will be all over it.
Right. Well, this is the problem with the data, is that this stuff, I mean, dramatically undermines confidence in the overall system, as it should, because everybody's like, I'm sitting at home, like, let's say you're one of the, Joe just stood up for the stockholder, and you're just like average Joe, like Joe, and you're at home, and you're watching CNBC, and you're just sitting there panicking or thinking. And I read a horrible article in the Wall Street Journal, and this is a good example of how stock crashes can be very impactful, of people who have mandatory withdrawals for their children's 529 plans.
Right.
These are people who have responsibly saved and whose kid must go to college in the fall. And they're like, yeah, now it's down 20%, and I may need to take out a loan. That's horrible. You know, and yes, they've been investing over an 18-year period. They've definitely made a killing on the first half. But what about the last couple of years that they put their money in, or maybe the money in that they just put in now? They've actually taken a net loss, you know, on that. That is exactly the type of thing, behavior, savings, and all that otherwise, where there are real consequences, not to even mention all the retirees who have mandatory withdrawals from their 401ks right now.
That's right. Well, think about it this way. So yesterday was the largest gain, I believe, in history for billionaires, just like astronomical amounts of money made.
You mean from law? I guess technically. But,
Yes.
I mean, we're still down 12%
Single day
from
gain.
the all-time high.
Okay.
But yeah.
But if you were in a position to know that this news was coming out, and you were in a position to make those moves, if you're like, you know, a union with a pension fund that you're running, you aren't on the inside.
No.
And you're talking about that is to benefit ordinary working class people. So you are still down, right? Some people were in a position to make a killing. Apparently, Charles Schwab made billions of dollars yesterday. That is a direct upward transfer of wealth from retail, from pensions, from, you know, all of these groups that, you know, are just sort of like normal, regular people. What is it? 60% of Americans have some exposure to the stock market.
That's right.
So that's why these stories really matter. I mean, when we think about, we covered so much of the insider trading allegations with Congress, Nancy Pelosi and all of these people. And she would be in a position to benefit from the knowledge that she has of what Congress is up to and what particular companies stand to benefit. That is much more indirect, frankly, than, I mean, vastly more indirect than Trump literally being able to truth out a total new global trading regime. And Lord knows these people have no scruples. I mean, Trump did a pump and dump with his shitcoin and his wife's shitcoin. Like, they're not ethical people. They are happy to cash in to their benefit. He certainly is, when, you know, he has knowledge that can benefit him. So frankly, I'd be shocked. The big question is whether that's the whole purpose of what they're up to here. And, you know, some people are looking at this and are like, I can't really divine any other purpose that makes any sense here. So it is possible that the whole point is just a sort of like global economic wide pump and dump. And if that is the goal, well, so far they've been phenomenally successful for that. There is one person that does not seem to have been on the inside, Sagar, in terms of knowing what was going on, and that's the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, who also, that's the person who Emily had floated might have been mistaken for
JG.
Jeffrey Goldberg.
That's right.
But I saw that it might have been someone different. But in any case, maybe he was supposed to be on the Signal chat, letting everybody know. And instead, Jeffrey Goldberg got it instead. So he was testifying before Congress and learned in real time what was going on with this. And the Democratic member who was questioning him, when he finds out, he also immediately goes to the place of like, what the hell are you people doing? You're the U.S. trade rep, how do you not know what's going on? And who does? And what billionaire is standing to benefit here? Let's take a listen to how that went. Dad, this is C4, guys. Let's go ahead and play that.
Are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago.
Sitting here.
And under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that the that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically, what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the
Congress.
pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate,